Hey, hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Ranjan and this is second video of Apache PySpark playlist, and I hope you have already watched this first part of the video in which I have explained the basics of the big data and Hadoop. If you
Hey,
have not
hello, welcome back.
and if you have not watched this video, please go through this link is here. So let's start this video without wasting any further time.
So here we have Spark. So here's some little history of Spark. So it is founded by the person in 2009, and that person is the founder of Databricks company now. 2009 he discovered Spark, he invented Spark. Later it got donated to Apache Software Foundation. Apache managing all the open source. So Spark become open source in 2010, and later that person has founded the company Databricks in 2013. So Spark is a fast or lighting real-time processing framework. So it is a computing engine. I have already explained you. So it was a computing engine and it was written in Scala. So Scala is also much like Java because Scala language is intended to compile to Java bytecode because the resulting bytecode will run on a Java virtual machine. So it is much like a Java. So when they have written a Spark in Java or Scala, so to avail the facility from the Spark, they have released a Python interface. Actually, they have not released only for Python interface. They have released for Python, they have released for Java, and they have released for R, and they have released for Scala. So if we are using these four languages, we can use Spark features. So to develop a Python interface, there is a library which is Python 4J library. It got used, and this library is used to convert any Java code into Python or vice versa. So Spark has some advanced features which is in-memory computations and the lazy execution and the parallel processing. I will tell you what are the in-memory computations. So as I told you, whenever our processor wants to perform some operation, it performs operation on the RAM and that data got stored into the hard disk. This structure is followed by the Hadoop as well. But in case of Spark, what we have done here, we are using this bandwidth and it was unnecessary. So what processor is doing, it is just computing or it is just performing the operations in the RAM only. Once all operations are completed on this data, then data this would be transferred to the hard disk. But in case of Hadoop, what it is doing, all the data is stored in hard disk of these data nodes. So whenever the data is required for processing, it is read from the hard disk, it goes to RAM and then perform operation, then it will goes to into hard disk. However, the entire data set would be read from the disk, not just the portion that is required. If we have that much data set, suppose we want to read that portion, so what it does, it will read complete hard disk, not just this portion. It will read all the data, not just what portion is required. But in Spark, the data is stored in the RAM, which makes reading and writing highly faster. So Spark is 100 times faster than the computing engine which was map reduced in Hadoop. So let me tell you some more example. So this is the example in case of Spark and Hadoop. If you will see in the Hadoop, suppose this is the chain of jobs. So first step is completed, it is just storing the data into the hard disk. After then in the step 2, it is again reading from the hard disk and it is performing some operation and it is storing that output into hard disk. Again it is performing some operation and again it will storing into the hard disk. Reading from the hard disk and writing to the hard disk is a latency issue because you cannot directly fetch from the hard disk, you have to fetch from the hard disk to RAM. But in case of Spark, you will see the data is extracting from the hard disk to RAM, and then at each step it is getting stored into the RAM only. It is getting stored into the RAM. When all jobs got completed, then at the finally it will store into the hard disk. By using this, it will decrease the latency, but here it would increase the latency because we are using hard disk at each every step. In this case, it is has used hard disk only in the first step, then after in consecutive steps it used only RAM each and every step in a particular job. So this was the memory computation. So now we have lazy execution. So lazy execution means whenever we are applying some function to read the data, it will not read the data because we are not performing any operation. Until and unless we are not performing any operations or computation on the data, it will not read the data. Suppose as we do in pandas, whenever we do pd.read underscore csv, what it will does, it will just store all the data into the RAM. Even if you are performing any operation or not, it will just store the data into the RAM. But in case of Spark, it does not perform like that. If you're reading the data, okay, it will check the syntax, whether syntax is correct or not, but it will not store the data inside the RAM until and unless you are performing any operation on that. So there are two operations I will tell you in further slides: action and the transformation. And parallel processing, it is also supported. This parallel processing is also being done in the Hadoop as well. Parallel processing, that means you are distributing your workload to different nodes. And main thing, Hadoop MapReduce was performing batch processing. So what is batch processing? So whenever all data is get collected in one storage, so once all the data is collected, then it will perform for analysis. Then it will produce the result. But if suppose we need the real time data, so suppose the data is coming and we have to process the data and we have to produce the output in the real time. It was not supported in the MapReduce. So Spark supports batch processing and the real time processing. So Spark supports both. So I will give you some examples. Suppose in credit card fraud, we are creating one model, and in the real time, suppose a person is using his credit card at any sale counter and we want to check whether that transaction is genuine or fake. So in that case, we would be needing the real time processing. So Spark is helping here. And Spark, it is just leveraging Apache Hadoop for both storage and processing. If we are not using any separate thing for storage and processing, so Spark is using Hadoop. It is just leveraging their services. And I have already told you that Spark can load directly from the data disk, from the memory or other data storage such as S3 or SDFS or Cassandra or HBase or many databases. It can read the data from all the databases. So as I've already told you that we cannot compare Hadoop with the Spark, because Hadoop is a complete package. It has everything: storage unit, computing engine or resource manager. And Spark is only has a computing engine. So we cannot Hadoop with Spark. But yes, we can compare Hadoop MapReduce with Apache Spark. So first of all, similarity: both are computing framework engine, both are open source, and both are managed by Apache. Yes, MapReduce is faster than the traditional system which we are using, because we are using a single environment. But in Hadoop MapReduce, it is using distributed environment, it is using parallelization, but it is not using the full capacity of the Hadoop cluster. But in Spark, it is using a full capacity. It is just leveraging the HDFS system or the Hadoop system, and it has been proved, it has been tested on the benchmark, and it was proved that it is performing 10 to 100 times faster than the MapReduce. And I have already told you that MapReduce is disk oriented and Spark is memory oriented. Memory we means RAM, and if we're using hard disk, then obvious it would be higher latency and it would be no caching support. But in case of Spark, we have low latency and we have caching support. And MapReduce is a cheaper option, no doubt. It is a cheaper option because we are using hard disk here. But in Spark, we are using a RAM. It will increase the cluster and it will increase the cost as well. And in case of Spark, it will reduce the number of the reading cycles to disk and storing image intermediate data into the memory. Because in case of Spark, it stores the intermediate data into the RAM. So that's the reason it is fast. It uses a lazy computation. So that's why it is fast. MapReduce is Java based. It is purely a Java based. So in this, writing a pipelines or writing a MapReduce code is very complex and lengthy. But in case of Spark, it is easy, it is compact, and we can write in 4 languages, so it is easy. I have told you that MapReduce supports batch processing only, but in case of Spark, it supports batch processing, it supports iterative, real-time, and interactive processing. And both are fault tolerance. It have a mechanism so that our data won't be get destroyed in case of performing the operation. So both are highly scalable and both are cross-platform. We can use on Linux, we can use on Windows, we can use on Mac. And in case of MapReduce, it has been tested on 15,000 nodes. MapReduce cluster can work on 50,000 nodes, but Spark, it has been tested on 8,000 nodes only. And MapReduce has not any inbuilt support to various things like SQL, machine learning, real-time processing, but Spark has inbuilt support, it has inbuilt libraries for SQL, machine learning or real-time. And so it is just a basic data processing engine. If we want to save cost, it is just a basic data processing, and it's a data analytic engine, and it is getting chosen by many data scientists and many companies. And in case of MapReduce, it runs on commodity hardware. So commodity hardware is what we use in our daily life, but in case of Spark, it uses something between mid to high level hardware, because in this case we are using a RAM. Whenever we want speed and we have the large data set, we generally prefer the Spark. So one more thing that I will suggest you, always select a proper choice. If we have a large data set and you want to perform manipulations or calculation or computation, you will face performance issue if you will use MapReduce. But if you are using Spark, in case of huge dataset and large dataset, it would be good. If you have small data sets, few GBs, it is always advisable use MapReduce, because if you have small data set and you are using Spark, it will create a opposite effects. So you have to select a proper processing framework. So that's all in this particular video. In the next video, we will see the difference between the Pandas and the PySpark, and we will install Spark in our local environment. Installation is very difficult because we have many versions of the Hadoop and the PySpark, and you will see many videos in YouTube, but most of the videos are outdated, so you would be facing difficulty in installation. So I will show you simple steps for installation. So that's all in this particular video, and I hope you have enjoyed the content, and I hope I have make you understand about the basics of the Spark. So please like this video and subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed. So don't forget to press the notifications icon to get the latest update, my further videos. So stay tuned, see you all in the next video. Till then, goodbye, enjoy, happy learning.